This is heavy.
That's about all there is.
Yeah. So, but Josh, man, thanks for coming
Yeah.
and talking with us about not the Bones Brigade, but the Brittle Bones Brigade.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, kind of discovered you guys on Instagram, and you guys get together and skate at the City Walk Skate Park.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about this organization. I'm a big skateboard nerd, and obviously I'm in my 30s and stuff. And
Yeah.
So how did this get started?
Oh, organization is a strong word. So I mean, basically, gosh, what would it be? Almost 2 years now. It was just a friend of mine. I started skating as an adult. I was 25 when I started skating. I mean, I knew how to skate from like being a kid, just like pushing around, but I had never, stepped foot on a ramp in a skate park or anything until I was 25. And so I had been skating for a couple years. I'm 32 now. And we just heard the new park was going to be open, and so a couple people were starting to get excited about that, and so I just kind of started making all my friends go skate with me, so I'd have people to skate with at the park. And so it was kind of a few months before it opened. It was me, my buddy Frank, who's he's kind of the co-founder. You would see him in almost all of the videos, and a third friend of ours. We went out to a parking lot and we're skating a little bit. And then flash forward a few weeks later, it was like more hype was building for the park, and Faith put something out that they were just kind of, I think, trying to be more active, because I think people were like looking for skateboarding stuff because they heard about the park. And so they put like a anonymous ask me anything. And somebody asked a question on there, and it was like, hey, I'm 42 and I just started skateboarding, like, do you have any tips or anything? And they gave some tips, but it's like, you can only say so much on an Instagram story. Yeah. And so I messaged Faith, and I was like, oh, hey, if you want to send this guy my way, like, I'd be happy to go out and, teach him the very basic stuff, that kind of thing. But what I didn't think about was, like, they don't know who he is because it was an anonymous thing. So what they did was just kind of put out on their story, like, hey, any beginners, hit up Josh. And so I was like, oh, gosh, okay. And so then we weirdly, like, we had a lot of people just, like, reach out to me, like, hey, you teach beginners? I was like, well, no, but I'll encourage you. I'll hang out with you, and I'll show you if you don't know how to push or kick turn or things like that, I can show you that stuff. And so a couple people started coming out, and then when the park opened, kind of decided we should have a name and make it a regular thing. And Frank suggested the Broken Bones Brigade, and I was like, that kind of sounds like it kind of would discourage people more than encourage them.
100%. Yeah.
So we tweaked it to Brittle Bones Brigade, and that stuck. And then we decided, like, all right, every Wednesday we'll be there, and we have been for the last 2 years ever since.
So you picked up skateboarding at 25.
Yeah.
What did you have any prior experience with skating or any interest in it before that?
Yeah, so I definitely had interest. I had a lot of friends who were skaters in high school, and I just always thought they were the coolest people in the world. But I always had this inclination that, like, well, I could never be one of them, because we just didn't have the resources that we have now to, like, learn how to do things. I'd see them on ramps, and they'd be in the air, and I'm like, you're doing magic right now. How is it sticking to your feet? That doesn't make any sense and stuff. Funny. And if you don't have anybody who's, like, willing to baby you and walk you through that stuff, then it's always just going to be magic. But no, I remember as a kid, I had a board, and I remember vividly there were some girls in my neighborhood, and they were messing around on a board on a big hill, and they were like, oh, how do you do skateboarding? And I was like, oh, well, I'll show you how to do it. But I had no concept of, like, tight versus loose trucks. And they had, like, super tight trucks. So I just start bombing this hill, and it just immediately starts steering into the curve. So I just ate it and, looked like a fool. And, like, after that, I was like, I'm done skateboarding. But I picked it up again as an adult just because I lived in a neighborhood and my job was at the entrance of the same neighborhood. So I was always going to walk anyways. Like, it was too close even for a bike. So I was like, I'll just go pick up a Walmart skateboard. And so,
Sure, yeah. Just as like a means of transportation, I guess. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So I just started doing that. And then I had a coworker who saw me with the board. He's like, oh, hey, I skate. You want to come to the skate park sometime? And I was like, oh, that sounds terrifying. But he was just such a, like, he's really like my, like, what I want to be for people with Brittle Bones Brigade. He was just like super nice and like, well, whenever you want to come. And then like would like, I'd learn the most basic thing and he'd be like cheering like I just, won a medal kind of stuff. And so going with him was what like got me interested in like wanting to skate more and learn more and stuff. And so now that's what hopefully we can do for other people who come out on Wednesdays, and now Saturday morning is the other time we meet now too.
Dude, you guys are still going strong even with the cold weather and stuff?
As much as we can. Like
Okay.
we didn't. I mean, this week they closed after 5. They've closed after 5.
Yeah, we
this
drove
whole
by
week.
there and it was like I figured just because it's like who's skating? Like
Yeah,
we're in the
exactly.
at the time of this recording, there's like an Arctic blast going through Birmingham. So I apologize. We do record this podcast down in my basement. That's why I'm rocking a jacket right now. And got a little space heater over in the corner, but none of this is HVAC down here. So I didn't really think about that when I scheduled this episode.
Yeah.
I was like, well, maybe it won't be too cold. We'll just
I mean, we're used to it.
bear through it. But yeah, man, it seems. How is it? It seems like it's really taken off. I think, in fact, he was trying to find the Instagram, and there's
There
like
are so
there's like
many
one for
Brittle
every
Brigades,
state.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that man, I've loved that because I'm.
Did it start here? You started the original ones.
We started it, and people kept reaching out like, "Are you going to start one in Houston? Are you going to start one in Arizona?" I'm like, "No, like I'm not going to these places. Like I don't go around tour. Like I'm not like a famous like." Like a YouTube skater who's going around all these places. I'm just here. I work at Regions. Like I just have a regular job, and so I can't go out and start it. But I was just like, I mean, you do it. You start it.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll, my wife, she does all of our graphic design stuff. I was like, we'll just, put your name and change the color up, and then boom, you've got your own logo, and just start going. And so, yeah, they've started taking off. We've got a few.
Yeah, scroll down, Zach. There's a couple of. I think you had your
I should.
the shop pulled up earlier because you guys sell merchandise and all that stuff.
Yeah. We have T-shirts and hoodies and stuff designed by my wife, and yeah, that whole thing has been kind of a journey because there was a period of time last year when I was in between jobs, and that coincided with like us kind of hitting our peak of people being interested on the internet. And so I was going pretty hard on like, well, maybe I could make this our thing, maybe this could be our source of income. So I was like trying really hard to sell stuff and like get brand deals and things like that. And those, never happened. and
It's harder than it sounds.
Yeah. It's super. I mean, I really was like, when we were, just starting to get followers, I had this idea in my head. I was like, you hit 10,000 followers, and then the money's just gonna start coming to you. That's
not true. At all.
Not the experience.
Doesn't mean anything.
No,
Like,
it just
cares?
what it means is you now are like, if you want to put your name into the hat of like, trying to make money off this stuff, now you at least can get like a seat at the table. But like, people still have to like want you to rep their stuff. But so trying to do all that for a while, I really like it. It stressed me out so much and like took a lot of the fun out of it, And so I ever since I got a new job and have just been doing that full time, and this just gets to be something that I do with people that I love, doing something that I love. Like it's a lot better experience that way.
How many people do you guys have come out on a given Saturday or Wednesday night? Obviously, when the weather's better, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, you'd think. So there's actually, when it gets cold, it's like we get a whole different group of people that we don't see when it's warmer, because people know that like when it's cold, we're going to be the only people at the park. And City Walk.
Okay, yeah.
City Walk is so nice that like any opportunity that you have to like have the park to yourself, I mean that's as good as gold, So it actually doesn't like diminish as much in the cold as you would think it would. I mean, this week there's no shot. Even if they were open, I probably wasn't gonna go. But but no, I mean, one of my favorite things about this whole experience is that like we really don't care what the numbers are. Like, we see this as like a long-term investment in people and the community that we're building. So, I mean, some nights it might just be me and Frank and maybe like one other person. And then some nights we'll have like 15. We've had as many as like 20 people there on a Saturday morning or Wednesday night. But I think what appeals to people about what we do is like this understanding that like, look, man, I got a full-time job. I got kids. I know you do. You have a life going on. Like, there's no expectation for you to be here every Wednesday night. Like, when you
Or
do
be like the gnarliest dude. Or,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when you do show up, we'll say, "Hey, Ryan, yeah, what's up? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while." Like, it's just, and so that's what I love. People will show up that like we haven't seen for months, and it's like, "Oh, I thought you died or moved or something, but you're back. What's up? How's it going?" And so there's just no expectation for people to be there, and I think that's nice because you get a lot of pressure and expectation from everywhere else in your life. So this is a nice break from that.
That's awesome, man. It seems like I didn't realize there was that many people kind of. I thought maybe it was more. Do you find that it's more beginners that are coming out there and joining this group versus dudes that have just been doing it for a long time? They're just kind of like in the same age bracket.
Yeah, that was the idea, and it's interesting to see how it's kind of like morphed over time. Like the core kind of demographic, like who we made the kind of the content for and who we kind of put ourselves out for was kind of 30 and over beginners, and that's who we still do see the most of, just because we wanted to have a place for those people specifically, because it's so tough when you're like an adult beginner skateboarder. You're like, I've heard this is like the coolest thing ever. Like, people say it's like so good for your mental health, and like I want to get into this, but then you show up, and it's like, well, everybody my age is like really good already, or the people who are my skill level are like 6-year-olds, so it's like, who do I hang out with, who do I interact with? So we're trying to be,
kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah,
a little
like
bit,
a safe place where like you can suck every single week and it's fine. Like we have some people that like just they'll come consistently and just like have not cared to like. I'm like very much like I want to keep learning new stuff and get better and stuff, but like some people just come and they just skate around and chat and like not really interested in progression. They're just there for the community, and like that's awesome too. So you said you skate?
Yeah, so I like kind of my background is I got my first skateboard when I was like 12 and kind of skated, for the next 10 years of my life. Skateboarding like dominated everything I did or thought about, or like the music I listened to, the clothes I wore. I mean, it just influenced every aspect of my life. The friends I hung out with. I mean, everything revolved around skating.
Yeah.
And then that influenced me by it influencing you.
Yeah.
Younger brother.
So, yeah, just skateboarding. I mean, I think just in our little set we built down here, we've got like a dozen or more skateboards just all over the walls and stuff.
I had one of their boards for a while. I really liked it.
Yeah, dude. He actually makes, we had him on. A shout out to that dude. He actually makes his own skateboards and stuff. I don't know if he's still doing it or if it was just like a,
I hadn't heard anything from them in a
hobby
while.
from love. Yeah, I haven't really heard anything either. But I thought it was so rad that he's not just like, at the time when he was making these boards, he's not just like buying blanks and having the graphic printed on it. He's actually hand pressing these. And buying the veneers and doing it. It's like literally building a skateboard from the ground up, which I thought was so cool because I wanted to do that. I was like, as long as I've been skating, I want to like build my own skateboard from scratch, and it's a little bit harder than you would think. You just go to Home Depot and buy a piece of junk wood and cut a skateboard out of it. It doesn't really work like that. To get the flex and to get the, everything that goes into it. So that was a really cool conversation with that guy. But yeah, man, just I'm sure the new skate park, had a big impact on your group, and having a place to finally a safe place to go skate that's not just out in the streets, like, and finally having a skate park in Birmingham. That's something that Peter at Faith has fought so long for and fought so hard for. Yeah. And so we finally got it, and we've got like not only do we have a skate park, but we have like a really nice skate park. Like
Exactly.
I've quoted it several times. I'm sure I've been wrong every time, but it's like the 5th largest in the country
Yeah.
or something. At least at the time it was built. I don't know.
I feel like you change it every time. It's the second. It's,
It's the
third,
second
it's the-
largest, it's the
we're
fifth
like
largest.
we're in the top 10.
Yeah.
We're in
Oh,
top
we're
10.
definitely in the top
We're up
10.
there.
You were up there. Have you
Yeah.
been to the new park in Huntsville? Have you seen it?
I have not had a chance, man. The Huntsville, there's a Huntsville Brittle Bones group, and they're like the ones that like all the other ones. It's just like people have messaged me, and I've just kind of given them the green light to do their thing. But Paul in Huntsville, who started the Huntsville Brittle Bones group, has like come down and skated with us like 3 or 4 times now. He's like the coolest guy, like just perfect to kind of take on that mantle in Huntsville. And like, I mean, he has like offered us a place to stay, and I just have not ever found the time to go, and I really want like it looks kind of weird, and like I want it like
know.
weird, like old school, like snake run kind of
Dude, pull
stuff.
up.
Like,
Can you find see if you can find some pictures of the Huntsville
like
skate
I
park.
really like it weird in like a fun way. Like it looks really fun in like a
I don't think I've really looked at it.
atypical way.
Like, I didn't realize they had like a snake run. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it like a big, like we have the
Or any of
pump
these-
track at City Walk, but I mean you see like there it's just like
Which one? Which photo?
the big circle thing. Yeah, so like it's
That's
just
Huntsville?
that's Huntsville.
Oh, wow. Okay. They got like a kind of a full pipe deal, I guess.
Well, it's just like a weird. You just don't see it. It's like rolling on one side into like a straightaway long big mini ramp thing with a full pipe thing at the end.
At the end,
like
yeah.
it just looks like it's got some weird, fun, unusual stuff, and I got.
Oh, there it is. Okay,
yeah,
there's another picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you could just like, with that
Yeah,
rolling,
that
you could
is a
just like
little wild.
blast it from somewhere else and come in. Like looks really fun. But no, I hadn't had a chance to get up there, but
Yeah, dude. I'm not sure what the company is that built it. I don't know if the company that built our skate park was involved or if it
I think it
somebody
was.
else.
I think
Was
it
it
was.
New Line?
Yeah, because it was. New Line. Because I could be wrong. I'm just saying stuff confidently.
Well,
like-
shout out
like
to New
a-
Line.
Yeah,
Either way,
shout
we
out,
love
yeah.
them because they built our park. Yeah, we'll give them credit. I feel like they were involved, but then somebody correct me in the comments
Yeah.
if I'm mistaken
Yeah.
of who built the Huntsville skate park in Alabama. But yeah, man. So going back to our park,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. At least over the summer, I was up there a good bit, and I was really pushing myself to
Yeah.
kind of relearn some of the skills I'd lost through the years. Just
Sure.
life. You get older, and
Yeah.
obviously having the skate park kind of pushed a lot of people. They started dusting off their old
Mm-hmm.
skateboards, and it's like I went to the grand opening that they had, and had a lot of fun. And then like a couple of times I went up there and like twerked my ankle, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm definitely not attuned to this like I used to be.
Right.
But have you had like, are you guys up there like carving in the bowls and stuff, or y'all just kind of
Yeah, I mean,
stick to different areas? I'm sure you've progressed, like having the park and stuff.
yeah. I mean, I've gotten, certainly at like what there is to do at City Walk. Like I like, the obstacles there. Like I've gotten better than I was, but it. So I'm not from here. I moved here almost 5 years ago now.
Oh wow, where from?
I'm from Memphis.
Okay.
And so yeah, it was a really interesting experience. There's there's a lot of like skate parks, smaller ones than City Walk, because City Walk is huge. But there's maybe 4 or 5 skate parks in Memphis, and so that's like where I learned to skate, and then moved down here. And it was so. I mean, it's like you said. It's like there's nowhere to skate, and even like street skating, like. Just skating in parking lots and stuff, it seemed like they were like very hostile to like I was getting kicked out everywhere, and it's like man, look at me, man, like I'm 30 years old, I'm not spraying graffiti and making trouble, man. I'm just trying to like get out and get some exercise. But so then to go from that to City Walk, which I mean, it's just like it's a perfect park, man. Like I so appreciate the thought that went into it. And my favorite thing about it is like you said, it's really big, 5th or however many largest park in America, but that's just talking about square feet. What I appreciate is that they didn't try to like cram in as many obstacles into that square feet as you could. There's just like room to breathe, which
Yeah,
which
I
I
get
think
that.
is so inviting that, like, you've got this gnarly, scary, terrifying pool that we see, like the older guys who used to skate that stuff all the time are skating, and then you've got a great street section. Then you've got room. You can just skate flat for all of our beginners. Like, if somebody comes out for the very first time, which happens a lot, like, I just bought a skateboard. I've never stepped foot on it. What do I do? Like, I love that this is a place where I can just say, like, yeah, just go from this side of the park and back as many times as you can without stepping off your board. And there's like room for that and space for that. And the people there, like, nobody's ever been anything but like super supportive to us.
Yeah.
Like, it's been the coolest thing. So yeah, I was so excited when the park opened. I remember like going there right after it just opened, the grand opening and stuff, and just looking around and seeing like every single person that I had met in like different pockets of skateboarding in Birmingham over the last 3 years when I had moved there, and they were like all there in one place. It just was just a cool moment of like, okay, we have a chance to like really build something cool at this park, and I think we have over the last couple of years.
Yeah, dude, I feel like the following has definitely grown, and more people are like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just a thing being in the deep South, like just, on the West Coast, I feel like they embraced skateboarding like 100 years ago, and it's just like everybody, it was just normal. But like, if you're like me, did you grow up in Memphis?
Yeah, I grew up
Okay.
there. Mm-hmm.
Just growing up in the South, and I've mentioned this on past episodes, but it was tough, man. Like, we were me and my little small group of friends at our high school were the only ones that even thought about, riding a skateboard and stuff. Where it's like, once I got into college, then it kind of became more accepted to have a skateboard to like get to class and stuff. And you see dudes on like longboards and stuff, and just kind of skating around. I was like, dude, I see skateboards everywhere now, especially, it's just like the culture around skateboarding has changed. It's not like this, like, only the bad kids skate, or the drug kids or whatever. It's like just accepted, to ride a skateboard just like anything else, a scooter or bicycle or whatever, as a means of transportation, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think there's been a lot more like buy-in,
social acceptance. I guess.
Yeah. To what it can do for you, the mental aspect and stuff. I mean, I remember leading up to, for about a year, even going back a couple years before I started skating, I had some pretty intense struggles with panic attacks and anxiety and stuff, and just having this thing that was like, it's just for me. I'm putting all this work into it that nobody will ever see, nobody will care about. Learning how to ollie. People say, "Oh, cool, you got your wheels an inch off the ground. Way to go, man!" But like,
you don't understand how hard that is.
Exactly, nobody does, but I do. Like, I know how much work I put into getting those wheels an inch off the ground and stuff, and like what that does for your mind, and people talk all the time about the falling, getting back up mentality that skateboarding develops and stuff. I don't know. I feel like have been skating long enough now that I am actually seeing that like take root in other places in my life now. Like, like this mentality has become normal of like, you fail, you just get up and try it again a different way, like doing that. And like everything that I have going on in my life as a parent, employee, as a friend, just what it gives you is, so I think people have caught on to that more, and that's a big reason why it's been more socially acceptable.
That's cool. I've never really approached it from that way, like a good, I don't know, reliever of stress, if you will. Yeah. But I could also see it being stress-inducing, because for me, I was like pushing myself a little bit, especially when it gets crowded there, man. It's tough to like be carving through the pump track, on the backside. For anybody that's familiar with the City Walk Skate Park, on the back there's like a big, I don't know, quarter pipe, I guess, where you turn. But on the backside of it, there's a smaller quarter pipe, so kids like will stand up there and like. I've had more than one or two skateboards shoot out into the pump track while you're going by, and you have to bail. And that's how I ended up getting hurt, is just trying not to get hit in the face by a skateboard or like mow some kid down or something like that.
Yeah, well, that was kind of why we picked the times that we did. So on Wednesdays we meet at 8:30, and then we go to a close.
What is closed? It's
10.
So they're open till 10 Monday through Friday.
So, yeah. So sometimes when you get there right at 8:30, it's still fairly crowded. But by about 9, like every week, it's it'll usually be us and maybe just 2 or 3 other people there. Like
Cool.
it really clears out because, like.
I haven't done a night session with all the lights and stuff under the
it's
street.
super
I bet
cool.
it's rad.
It's super cool.
I've seen your Instagram. It's like all the the pink and the blue and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
it was funny. Like the first couple of videos we took after they put those in, it's like, oh, this is all right. This is really gonna define the look of our videos from now on. Okay, cool. So because I know exactly that feeling there's only really been 1 or 2 times that I've gone to this park, City Walk specifically, by myself during peak hours, and it sucks. Like it's
totally
it's rough, and so putting myself in the mindset of I'm a beginner, and you're already so self-conscious. You don't have a mindset to understand skate park etiquette of you have lanes and you're not trying to skate people, and so you're already coming in all unsure about that, and then it's just packed out with people. I've heard all kinds of stories of people who say they just showed up and just said no and dipped, and so we do until close on Wednesday night, and then Saturday mornings we go right when it opens at 9.
9, yeah, and it's usually pretty dead then.
We're usually the first people there.
I went a couple of times at 9, and that was the only time where it's okay, I got to park myself. I can
Yeah.
breathe a little bit. But right after it first opened, I had the same thing happen to me. I went back during lunchtime because I was like, man, I want to go back for another session. I showed up, and I don't know if it was just because that was opening week or what, but it was a madhouse. I literally walked in, looked around, and I was like, never mind. I just left. I was like, screw this, dude, because, man, there's been a lot of pros that come through there and a lot of, really, really tremendously awesome talent that's come through that park. And I'm sure, and I've talked to Peter about this, but it's now that we have this here, have you seen or been involved with, I know they had, James Hardy, shout out to him. He had, the Hardy Holiday Jam contest that he did up there, and there's been some other events that come through. And
I have not been able to come to as many of those as I would like to, and I really want to make that a priority this year as kind of phase 3 to me of what we've been doing so far. I feel like phase 1 was just our little group of beginners, and now especially with the Saturday one, on Saturday it's not just beginners anymore. Almost never. You see a good mix of just this community that we've made of friends that are we've got some beginners and we've got some not, and so
a little more intermediate.
Exactly,
Okay.
intermediate, and then we got some good skaters who just want to hang with us too, and that's great. And so next step, I really want to begin to bridge the gap, being more ingrained in the skate scene as much as we can, because honestly, I feel like we could add a lot of value to it. And when I say we, I mean the people who show up on Wednesday nights who are people who are a little more established in their life, have more disposable income and
older
things like
people.
that.
Just go ahead and say it.
Yeah,
Just
old
people, yeah.
who have the capacity to pour into things and stuff that maybe your 18-year-old guy who rips but is living off ramen noodles and stuff, that guy needs us, and we need to be help supporting that guy. And so I want to do as much as we can to kind of be more present. I've gotten to go to a couple of them, but not as many as I'd like.
Yeah, I think we'll see more as the this summer. I'm sure there'll be more events and more contests and stuff. They had one contest last summer. It was really cool. A couple of big names came out, and some of the guys that were shredding the pool, which has always been something that's super foreign to us. It's we got a lot of really good street skaters that have come out of Alabama, but we've never had any good pools or any good bowl skaters or anything like that.
Come on, man. Those bowls at Railroad Track.
Railroad Park, yeah.
Some of the
They
best.
filled those
Gosh,
in.
no
They're,
way.
Yeah, they're giant
Yeah.
flower beds now.
That's-
I don't know if they planted trees in it, but they're full of dirt.
Yeah.
They're full of dirt. Yeah. They were like engineered wrong. Like
Yeah,
you
oh,
couldn't
those
carve
things are-
them. Like it was.
Yeah. Oh
like,
my gosh. Yeah. I skated those a couple times, like when I came to like visit friends here before I lived here and stuff. Like, I mean, those things were chaos. Like
It's garbage. Yeah.
Like it's again like to see the upgrade of like. These clearly weren't designed by skaters at all. Someone just dug a hole.
Just
in
dug
the
a hole,
ground.
filled it with concrete, and they're like, "This is what the kids want,
You
right?"
know,
Yeah.
But now that they're gone, I kind of wish that they were back. They were kind of there was a certain charm.
People
to 'em.
learned how to like flow through them and skate them. They would kind of hit them from one side
Yeah.
and jump out of the other,
Uh-huh.
and like you'd see like BMX guys up there all the time riding them too. And, yeah, I don't know. I think Peter's. In fact, I think he said something to that degree, either about those or about the Homewood Park. Do you remember the Homewood Park? Were you here during that time?
I hear people talk about it, but I wasn't.
Yeah,
I missed it.
So Peter famously said, it was basically just a concrete slab, which is still there in the heart of Homewood, and they put a bunch of metal ramps on it. And these metal ramps were, I don't know what the company behind it, Zach's laughing over there,
Yeah.
but they were engineered in a way where it was like real rigid, real hard to skate. It didn't flow well. It's
Dude,
like the
and
transitions
loud
were
as
super
hell.
like short and steep, It's like
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't quite get the geometry right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was a lot of fun. And Peter was like, "Man, y'all hate on this park, but you're gonna be really sad when it's gone." And so, yeah, I look back on that park as shitty as it was, but as awesome as it was, and I was like, "Man, that was some of the best time in my life."
Yeah.
Late nights hanging out at the Homewood Park, and
The only other aspect of our thing is my mini ramp.
sure,
The-
yeah. Well,
and-
tell me about your mini ramp.
Well, I mean,
Is it the inflatable one? It's not the.
no.
Have you seen that?
I have seen that.
Dude,
I don't trust
you could
it. Man. That's
inflate a mini
sketchy.
ramp and put like dude, it's crazy. Have you seen that? Dude, look it up. Inflatable mini ramp. It's a real thing.
There's just no way. Like my kids.
It doesn't look like it has very much of a lip to it. It's like a micro
Yeah.
mini ramp. It's really small.
But it's like I just know like my kids go to parties all the time where there's inflatable No, it's like a whole company that
Yeah,
that
that's
might be
it
it.
right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And then they just blow it up and then they like put I guess something similar to
It's like some kind of hard surface that lays on top of it. But man, it's got to flex anytime you
Oh, I
go
know.
to
Like, you
carve
go-
and stuff, so you lose your energy.
I just feel like you hit the flat and unless you weigh like 80 pounds, like you're gonna make it dip. There's no way around that. I just can't.
yeah.
No, we
Dude's out in the middle of the water. Yeah, that's it right there. Inflatable mini ramp. I just don't.
There's no way.
It's like just build a real mini ramp.
Yeah.
Like it's not that hard. So your mini ramp.
It's a OC ramps like it's like
Okay.
a kit that we bought. But it's just been a really cool like investment because it's really small. It's like their garage mini.
Okay.
So it's a great place for people to learn how to like drop in and kick them. But that doesn't have to be the podcast. I just wanted to mention it because you live right here and you can. Come,
Oh, okay, yeah,
you
that'd
can
be
come
fun.
skate anytime.
Dude,
Like,
I'll come shred your mini ramp.
It's
I used to
fun.
have one. Like I built one as a kid. Me and my dad built one. We got
Was it an
plans
OC
off-
ramp?
I don't know.
It wasn't. Was it?
It came from.
Dude, you know Cody. he has-
CCS. CCS
Oh, yeah,
mail
yeah.
order.
Mhm.
We mail ordered some, and they called it like a micro mini ramp. It's like a 3-foot mini ramp.
Yeah, ours is smaller than that. It's like 2 feet.
Oh, wow,
Like
okay.
it's real small. Like it doesn't feel that way to beginners, but it's also too like we need to add more flat
Like
to it.
widen it.
I've had some Solomon, Chris Solomon.
Yeah.
He so he's comfortable in these big old bowls and stuff, and so he came over to skate ours one time, and like he couldn't do it. He
Oh, really?
he left after like 10 minutes. He's like, I can't because it was just so small and quick. I'm super used to it now because it's it's in my backyard, but it is really like you drop in and you're on the other side basically.
Right,
Like so we need to add maybe 2 or 3 feet of flat, but it's fun. It's a challenge, but it's fun.
How long have you had it?
I guess about 3 years now.
Okay.
But last year we went ahead and finally got like gator skins for it, and so it feels a lot nicer now.
That's the one thing that I don't have any quarrels with City Walk Skate Park, but like having just like a little mini ramp, like the smallest thing is that
Yeah.
bowl, And it's like what, 6 feet or something like that. The
Yeah,
bowl over on the far end
bowl
or
in the
whatever.
and yeah,
It looks smaller on video, but when you're there and you go to drop in, it's like, dude, I could get worked on this.
Yeah.
Like, this is pretty big. you
well,
know? To me at least, I don't know. I'm a wuss.
so they do. It's just that it's on the back of the pump track.
Back of the pump track.
There's this little it's a foot and a half.
That's what I want.
Like it's tiny.
Yeah.
But then the run up is here, and then you're down another. So there's no Did you ever skate at the dojo? Over here,
yeah,
it's kind of like by the railroad.
That's been a few years since they had that park.
But do you remember there's that tiny little quarter pipe there that was like it was like a foot, but then it was like 12 feet across. Like it could not have been more perfect for like, let me learn a transition trick here and then go take it somewhere else.
Sure.
And they basically have that at City Walk. It just immediately drops off into another taller quarter pipe, so you can't come at it straight. And you also if you're a wuss like myself, then you getting out of it, you're just scared to immediately fall into another.
Okay.
Well,
that quarter pipe that's on the backside of the pump track, it's got
it's
that
nice.
square. We would learn some tricks on it, and I was like, man, I wish there was another one on the opposite side that we could actually just kick back and forth without it just being just a quarter pipe. Stay on a quarter pipe.
Well, if you want
to have everything. Yeah.
You can't have everything, but if you want a small mini ramp, like I said, I live right across the street.
What's that address? You want to put that out there?
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I really don't mind. I invite people all the time.
Shoot Josh a message.
Yeah, shoot me a message if you
hang out on his mini ramp. So it's cool that people are getting to make new memories now.
Yeah,
the new skate park, which is really cool.
For sure. Oh yeah, and you're now starting to see kids starting to come up. There's this one kid.
I'm so jealous, man. I wish I had grown up. These kids just don't understand. Just 5 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, getting on a skateboard for the first time, and you have this giant, immaculately manicured skate park, and it's just
it's amazing. There's this one kid. I think his name's Malcolm, and we'll see him there when we're there sometimes. And I follow his Instagram, and just just go look back at his Instagram 3 months ago, and he's learning
just the progression.
Yeah, he's learning the most basic stuff on the smallest things, and cut to today, and he's already doing fly outs of the pool and stuff like that, do it
wow,
cool. 50s to fakie over the keyhole and stuff like that, blunt to rock and roll the other day, he just
it's crazy.
They have this opportunity now. That's amazing.
So hopefully Alabama will produce some more.
Hopefully,
a lot more professional skateboarders and stuff like that. I guess the Olympics are still a thing. Is that going to happen? Did you read about some of the drama?
No, they canceled the Olympics. They're done. They're no more.
Olympics are done.
Well, the skateboarding aspect.
He's like, do you think the Olympics is going to happen?
I meant in regards to skateboarding being part of the Olympics.
Yeah.
There was some drama that went down with the Olympic team and some big fallout about how it all was managed and stuff.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. It was weird. I don't know. I remember watching it and it's kind of cool and stuff.
Yeah.
But
it's does it take away from the heart of I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. It felt kind of soulless. I appreciated Andy Anderson. Which people have all kinds of opinions about him.
Oh, I love Andy Anderson. Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
He seems to be a hero among our people. Everybody's got his board and stuff just for his willingness to skate every possible style and so him finishing his pool run with a 3-minute freestyle run in the hump in the middle of things
I
don't
care.
It was he was one of the only people who you could see the individuality and soul if there's very robotic feeling at the Olympics. I felt
Sure. Okay, that's a good way to put it. Well, if people wanted to learn more about your organization, I keep saying organization, but basically it's just an Instagram account that blew up and it's taken off.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, the Instagram account is really the main thing that we're doing. You know, like I said, like there's a period of time where I was like, oh, we got to start doing, you know, YouTube and every other TikTok and everything, and it's just kind of like, you know, what I care about is that like I care about the meetups Wednesday and Saturday night, and I'm incredibly grateful that we now have the Instagram to be a advertisement for that has a wide reaching audience, you know. But like I got so obsessed with like the view counts and things, and I was like working so hard to like make videos that like I wanted to succeed and stuff, and like, but like really like what I actually care about more, and like I feel very grateful to have the like freedom to step back and appreciate this now. It's like right after this, I'm going to the birthday party of a girl who's one of our regulars who's there almost every Wednesday night. But she didn't invite me to the birthday party. Her boyfriend did, who is one of my best friends that they met through Brittle Bones. Like,
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
how about that? That's
like,
cool.
So stuff like that, and there, you know, things like
the community aspect.
The community aspect, like
yeah.
that's what I appreciate, because people seem really, you know, you read some of the comments on some of our videos and stuff, and just people are, I think they're just desperate for people to give them permission to like seek out community or something. I don't know, like to have parameters around things of like, well, I can't just be like, hey, who wants to come skateboard with me? Like nobody's gonna show up. But you put these small parameters of like, we are open to adult beginners, and then suddenly people are like, okay, cool, this can be my thing, this can be my community, and people can rally around it and stuff, and people seem really really desperate for community, and we just want to be an outlet to embrace them. And if they show up once, great. If they show up every week, great. We'll be here, we'll be ready to, you know, receive you with open arms whenever you show up. That's what we want to be about.
So City Walk Skate Park, Wednesday nights and
Saturday mornings.
Most every Saturday, Wednesday. I guess.
every week, unless it's like this and they're closed every week. It is my, you know, commitment that either, if nothing else, at least I'll be there. You know, and most weeks it's me and Frank would be.
What's
there.
it like when I haven't really been up there when it's raining? I mean, it's under a bridge, but do you still have access to a lot of the park, or is it kind of a wash?
The way it seems to pan out is if it's like, if it has just started raining, like even if it is actively raining right now, you're fine. Except there's a, you know, the pump track is basically half out from under the bridge, so the pump track's usually out if it rains. If it's been raining all day though, then it starts to come through, and if it's been raining a lot, it's, you know.
But for the most part, you can still get a session.
Yeah,
even if it's
there's definitely been times where we've showed up and it is like actively raining, and we'll still be there for an hour and a half or however long.
That's cool. We're blessed, man. Well, dude, it's really cool talking to you and kind of hearing about what you guys do and stuff. And I'm psyched because, like, I don't know, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'd go up there, and I had like my neighbor and stuff. We were going and skating a pretty good bit. But on the days when they wouldn't show up, I'd get there, and I'm kind of by myself, and it's like, well, okay, I suck, and you know, I'm intimidated by these like 10-year-olds that are like launching over my head. And so I'd skate around a little bit, and, you know, it's cool to have, like, a group of people that are kind of in your same element as far as, like, skill level and stuff. And learning tricks together and, you know, all that whole thing.
You should, come either time, but come on a Saturday. Like, Saturday is, you know, I don't know. It's just like last week. It was really cool. I'm not always there Saturday. We actually have a guy. His name is Greg Han, and he's just a great guy. He loves like teaching people. But you know, he I can't be there every Saturday. I got 2 little kids. I can't
that's
dip
fair.
out on them every single Saturday.
Yeah.
like the
Peace.
one.
I got this group on Instagram. I got to support, man.
Exactly. The one time they're like, "Daddy, you can play with us all day today." Now I do take them sometimes.
Oh, okay, cool.
And that's that. You know, they've started getting really into it, which is really fun to me. But you know that means I don't get to skate. But you know, whatever. But
sacrifice.
But but come on a Saturday, because it's really like this past week. It was like just one of those times where it's like I just set up the phone with the tripod and let it go, because all of us were just like
Shredding, dude.
seshing the same lead
Yeah.
together, just like, and that's what we were doing, and it was, that's a really great feeling.
That's cool. Well, Josh, that's awesome. Do you guys have like a website or anything like that, or is it just
Um,
is the Instagram kind of the main thing?
yeah,
I guess?
the Instagram's the main thing. I mean, the website, there's nothing on the website other than just the merch and stuff.
Oh, the merch.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can
cool.
buy our merch. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
sure. Yeah. Support Brittle Bones.
Support
Get
Brittle
a
Bones.
T-shirt or something. Well, yeah. Well, I'll put links in the description
Yeah.
of this episode, and yeah, man, look forward to like skating with you guys soon. I'm gonna wait for it to warm up a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna
Yeah.
get there in the freezing cold.
Yeah.
Concrete hurts just a little bit more when it's like ice cold.
I know. I had that feeling. Yeah.
Brutal. But yeah, it's really cool like talking to you,
Yeah.
man. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming.
you too. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.